Hello and welcome to World in 5. In our news this afternoon, newly appointed Zimbabwe's ambassador to the Russian Federation, Ambassador Grey Marongwe, says relations between the two countries must be maintained, adding that Moscow will remain a key ally to Harare in different spheres of cooperation. He was speaking after paying a courtesy call to President Mnangagwa at the State House in Harare.
We always had this orientation that you must believe that the sacrifice would lead to freedom, whether you would be alive or you would die during the course. So the name Chatonga arose from that kind of thinking.
And it has stuck.
Well, looks like. but
The
I wouldn't say.
Marongwe one.
Yes, the Marongwe family, I'm sure they will take offense. They say they brought me to this world and the government took me away from them.
Zimbabwe has intensified surveillance for MPOX at all ports of entry following 2 cases of the virus last weekend. Responding to questions from legislators in the National Assembly today, Health and Child Care Deputy Minister Suleiman Kwidini said the ministry has begun contacting tracing.
We had our surveillance teams which will keep tracking, also checking, screening the people who were traveling from other countries to come in the country so that we know if there are these symptoms from the people who are traveling. But as we speak right now, since these cases were confirmed, the ministry and the government at large, because it will no longer be the ministry's mandate, but is the holistic approach of the government, the whole government, so that we make sure that all these infected people, they are in isolation.
He said training of village health workers and district hospital personnel is currently underway to enhance their skills in detecting and managing the monkeypox pandemic.
Several trainings which are being done in the all areas of Zimbabwe, especially in the district hospitals, including the village health workers. They are now trained to see and quickly identify the signs and symptoms which were mentioned, which presents the MPOX. So as we speak right now, there is also what we call contact tracing for those cases which have been confirmed, that the people whom they have met, that is the family members, friends and everyone, they have been contacted and also checked to make sure if they don't have those signs and symptoms.
Meanwhile, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has arrived in Bulawayo, where he is expected to officially open the Zimtrade Exporter Week on Thursday at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center. The president was welcomed at the Joshua Mkabogo International Airport by the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Judith Mugabe, among other officials. The Zimtrade Exporter Week is a premier event that aims to foster export growth in the country and will run until 18 October. The Exporters Conference, which will run under the theme Qala Tanga Start, will discuss issues around the export business in Zimbabwe and key areas of interest to exporters. Still on health matters, a 3-day regional adolescent sexual reproductive health rights conference underway in Harare seeks to assess current laws and policies as well as identify gaps in access to services. The engagement meeting brings together countries from East and Southern Africa. Lack of quality sexual and reproductive health services and education in the region has resulted in high rates of HIV, other sexually transmitted infections, and unwanted pregnancies. We get more in the following report.
The conference is expected to address issues of illegal abortions, among other challenges. Zimbabwe over the years has continued to report high rates of illegal abortions, contributing to a rise in the country's maternal mortality. The country has a restrictive abortion law that only permits abortion if the pregnant woman's life is in danger or in cases of rape, incest, or a fetal impairment. However, this has not stopped illegal abortions, with an estimated 80,000 backhead abortions on record annually.
With a particular focus on access to sexual and reproductive health in order to see how we could curb high teen pregnancies, new HIV infections amongst adolescents, and ensure that we are also able to address the issue that is killing over 200,000 young people within East and Southern Africa region, which is complicated abortions amongst adolescents.
In other news beyond our borders, a fuel tanker exploded overnight in northern Nigeria as a crowd of people rushed to the scene of an accident to collect leaking petrol. At least 104 people were burnt to death as fire engulfed the overturned vehicle, which had crashed. 50 others injured in the explosion have been taken to hospital in the nearby town of Rinjim in Jigawa State and are in a critical condition. Officers have warned people not to approach the tanker after the accident, but they were unable to contain the growing crowd. Many of the victims were burnt beyond recognition. The bodies have been covered by 3 branches to shield them from onlookers. And that's all we had for you on World in 5.